All right, guys, looking forward to the opportunity going out and playing out in Denver. Um, 3 of their games have come down to, last-second field goals. They're a good football team. They're solid on both sides of the ball. Um, they're starting a good, solid, young quarterback. They've got a good receiver, Sutton. Got a couple of guys in the backfield that can make plays. We've got our work cut out for us, offensively, defensively, special teams. They're top 10 in the league in several categories on defense and in special teams. So, any questions?
Freddie, are you going out a day early for altitude reasons?
No, we're going out a day early just because of the time change, and it's not a night game.
Freddie, how do you go about preparing for a guy that doesn't really have a lot of NFL film?
Well, we have to go off what we see off tape from the preseason and understand the young quarterbacks. The last 42 starts in the last 5 years, 42 guys have made their first starts in the NFL, and you would like to think that stats aren't very favorable for them when they start. Well, we have to understand that out of the last 42 starts, those guys are 16, 25, and 1, which is a lot better than you would just assume. He's going to do a good job preparing. Those guys do a good job coaching those guys where they're prepared to play the game. And the stats of those quarterbacks, 60% completion percentage, 200 yards passing. So we've got to prepare for him just like he's a starter. He is officially now an NFL starter. So we've had experience with that before, and guys have been successful against us, and we've got to prepare accordingly.
You mentioned the preseason film. Do you even go back and look at college tape or something too?
We evaluated him when he came out of college. Of course, you use every avenue you can to evaluate him.
How good is that Broncos? I know the record doesn't reflect it, but just how good are they playing on that side of the ball?
Well, they're very good, very active. They've got good active guys inside that we struggled at times with last year. Von Miller speaks for himself. He's one of the best in the league. Secondary is good. They've when they've given up 40 yards or less rushing, they've created 6 turnovers. They've won the game. When they didn't, they lost the game. And even those games came down to last-second field goal. So this is a very, very good football team we're playing.
Were you surprised that no trades went down yesterday? There's been a lot of discussion, obviously, heading into the deadline.
Has there been a lot of?
No, were you surprised that something didn't happen with John's history and all the discussion heading into the deadline?
John and I do a good job of communicating the possibilities and all those sort of things. We're always going to look to improve our football team. So,
Getting something done?
I'm not going to comment on that. You can ask John that.
Any disappointment that, there's not O-line help on the way?
I like our O-line. We're going to continue to try to get these guys better. They're committed to trying to get better, and that's what we're going to do.
Who's not practicing today?
Demarius Randall. Yeah.
What'd you see from the O-line once you watched the film, digested everything from Sunday?
I'm only going to talk about this Denver game. I mean, those guys compete on an every down basis. Every day they come to work. They're pros. They try to get better.
You have the same plan on the offensive line going forward. McCray, left tackle, potentially Teller some at right guard.
We'll continue to evaluate as we go along and see where we end up.
Freddie Baker said he liked the way that he and the rest of the unit handled the blitzes from the Patriots after what they had done the week before. How did you think he did in that department? And just overall, did you see improvement from him against the Patriots?
I think so. I think, the same problems occurred. It was funny, we were watching, just to answer the short question, yes, I was happy with the way we handled their blitz packages. We had a plan. Our guys went out and executed it well.
What do you think about him overall?
Baker, I think he's continuing to get better.
You said all along you wouldn't find out about this team until you reached some adversity, and there's been some
What do you want from your leaders this week? What do you expect out of your captains at kind of this crucial juncture in the season?
We've identified the problems that we need to correct, and hopefully they get corrected. It takes everybody, you know, and everybody's got to be pointed in the right direction, and I feel like we are, and now we've got to go out and do it. But it starts today.
What are the challenges of playing in Denver with the altitude and everything? Jake mentioned it earlier. Just what are the challenges?
We used to go every year in Arizona. That was the 4th preseason game. We went to training camp in Flagstaff, which was altitude also. So I think there's some benefits to it as far as recovery and stuff like that. But, you know, we just got to go play the game. It doesn't matter where we play the game at. You know, there's 10 other teams counting the preseason that go in there and play. So we're just one of those 10. We've got to go in and take care of ourselves. That's it.
What do you see when you look at that tandem of Denver running backs?
They try to get them the ball. They try to throw it to them. They try to hand it to them. And they're very physical, tough. Each one of them presents a different set of problems. But, you know, they're good football players.
I assume you looked at Lindsey coming out last year. Did you like when you watch him?
Yeah, definitely. And he had a good game. I don't know his stats really from last year, but, you know, he was productive when they gave him the ball last year during the course of the whole season. So he's a good player, really good player.
Freddie, where do you think, I know you were asked about Baker in New England. Where do you think he kind of stands overall right now? What's your progress report on him coming out of that bye, getting a little healthier?
What's my progress report on Baker?
Yeah, just kind of the whole big picture of where Baker stands.
I think he's continuing to try to get better. He's, you know, of course, each week presents a different set of problems. We have to identify those problems and attack those problems. And Baker works his tail off during the course of the week, and he's prepared on Sundays. And we just got to continue to try to get better.
You talked after the game about guys being accountable and him first and foremost and making sure guys are doing the right thing. Have you seen him take more of a role in that in trying to get other guys to hold themselves accountable?
I think Baker has. I think we have several guys that have. This is a group effort, and everybody has to understand that it's a group effort. And I'm talking about everybody in our locker room have to understand that we're all accountable to the things that have been happening. But again, this is a new day. We're trying to get better from that area, and I feel confident that we will.
Last year he had such a good second half of the season. Do you see any signs that that could be around the corner, or is that kind of a mystery still to you?
Again, I just want Baker to continue to do what he's doing from the standpoint of getting better, and it's all about winning games. So, you know, I don't get into stats and all that kind of stuff. I just want to win games, and I think Baker feels the same way.
How do you expect Nick Chubb to respond this week to the game that he had? What do you think you'll see from him?
The same way he responded during the game. Nick's a professional, you know, high character, just all the intangibles that you have in a football player Nick has. And I have total confidence that Nick is going to continue to work, and I expect him to have a good game, just like he always does.